Hi everyone, here's the Bookchemist once again, and today I am reviewing Numero Zero, the latest novel by Umberto, a book I loved so much. I got it as a present for Christmas, and by Christmas evening I had already finished. I was so addicted. A book I loved so much I had to refilm my whole top 10 books from 2015 because I could not include it. Numero Zero is a political thriller which is also a novel of ideas. It reminded me a lot of another novel of ideas slash thriller I read recently, which is Kingdom Come by J.G. Ballard. I'll talk about it in that top 10 I mentioned earlier. Because both books talk about and address specifically some of the biggest problems in their respective countries. Kingdom Come talks about, of course, England. Numero Zero talks about Italy. And Numero Zero was kinda bashed by most reviewers when it came out a few months ago. The Guardian bashed the book. Many internet reviewers on websites like Goodreads bashed the book. And in general it wasn't that well received, and now I usually am a nice guy, you know me, but I have to say that I think that in this case the problem is not really the book, the problem is you people out there because you don't get it. Seriously though, I think that to fully get the charm of this book, you need to be versed in a few things, most notably in the political and social situation of Italy in the last 25-30 years, and in the vast web of literary references that echo waves throughout the book. I didn't get all the references neither. I'm sure that if I had done so, I would have liked the book even more. And one of the reasons why I like the book so much is that it addresses some of the big problems, some of the big issues we have in Italy at the moment, we have had since quite a long time, very bravely and very openly. I don't know if you're aware of this, but like the most viewed video on my channel is actually a video I filmed a few years ago called 10 Things I Hate About Italy. It's got like really 30,000 views, something my bookish videos actually dream about. And I have received, and I still received, so many hateful comments for that video from Italians with nicknames like Benito 1920, because they're like they either think I'm either American or Arab for some reason, and they say that I should shut up and that I know shit about the country, of course. But the sad truth is that really the 10 things I talk about in that video are really silly things. That is a humorous video. There are things like we don't have many junk food parlors in Italy, junk food venues, we don't have Subway, we don't have Starbucks. There are things like you can't get a proper cup of tea in Italy. Had I been braver, had I been someone who was interested in actual politics and that kind of stuff, there would have been really way more than 10 things, than 10 serious things that we should all hate about Italy. This book addresses many of those things, and if you are convinced that Italy is a paradise country where everything goes well, no one is convinced of such a thing, of course, but if you think it is so, this book is gonna be soothing like a punch in the face. And I have to admit it, many Italians are gonna find it dissuading, because as an Italian myself, I can share this feeling. Italians usually don't like to be told they are wrong or that there's a problem with their country. They usually don't react in a very constructive way. Whenever there's a big scandal in Italy, something like, I don't know, a big Roman church was used to host the funeral to a mafia boss, the next day the TV news programs are gonna probably say things like, yeah, of course this was a scandal, but other countries in the world do the same, and they're gonna make like huge services on how other countries have the same problem. That's like the usual Italian reaction. And this book talks a lot about that, specifically about the news in Italy, because I don't know if in your particular country it's the same. I'd say that maybe it is, but not to the Italian extent. In Italy, many of newspapers, many TV channels, even major TV channels are controlled, are held by political parties or political figures, which of course sucks balls. And the way the news are used to shape a specific view of the world, to, I don't know, perpetrate a specific political view, is so flagrant in this country that sometimes I am really indignant when I watch the news. Like, this country will need way more literature students, way more people versed in narratology, who could see the way some of the news like in Italy are really shaped like if they were fucking short stories, like the way they use even like the ictic figures, very basic things, the contrast between them and us, with us of course changing according to political needs. The real problem possibly is that I think that many people are aware of this, because really it's difficult not to be aware that a TV channel who is owned by a specific political figure probably won't give you exactly 100% the exact picture on a determinate fact, but will give you a version of it that favors that political figure. I think everybody knows that. But in Italy, people don't really care, because there is this like shared notion that political figures and political parties are dishonest, and so we shouldn't care, because that's like a quintessential feature of any politician. Of course, nobody in the world trusts politicians, but here in Italy it reaches the point in which there are members of parliament who have been convicted, who are obviously criminals, everybody knows that, but they're still there, because no one gives a fuck. And this book talks about it a lot. It talks about some of the darkest secrets of the Italian 20th century, and it talks about how people don't care, how these secrets are really out there in the open, but like people don't really react, people don't care, they take it as something that just happens in history, some part of like the bad things of the world, and they carry on with their lives, not caring about it. In that, it is brilliant, it is quintessentially Italian, and it is very brave. Now, I have mostly talked about the ideas behind the book, about the political ideas behind it. I don't think this book serves a political agenda, by the way, like a party agenda. I don't think so. I think it's really just a brave and honest book about the country. But what about the actual book? What about the novel? I usually don't talk about politics because, I mean, I study literature because I like stories. I don't think books are there to change the world or to influence like political views. If they do so, to me that's a secondary effect. I like stories and I like good stories. Is this a good story? To me, it is. It's a very short book. It uses its cliffhangers very, very cleverly. It's definitely addictive. It's the kind of book you can read in a single setting, and you should, in my opinion. Some people might find the ending anticlimactic, and I'm not going to spoil you anything specifically, but I have to say that the anticlimactic nature of the ending is what makes the ending quintessentially Italian. It's a beautifully poignant and very sad and very true reflection on the way things are in Italy, and that's what makes it beautiful. As for the rest of the book, to me again, it was quite an addictive and quite a thrilling story. If you are looking for lots of shootouts and lots of bombs going off, this might not be the book for you, but really it's very, very short. You don't need that kind of stuff. It's not a perfect book, I'm not telling you this, and it might be that I'm passionate about the topics it talks about, and so I'm a bit partial about it. At the same time, I do think it's a great book. I do think it's a great novel. It intertextualizes beautifully with American postmodernism, paranoid postmodernism a la Pynchon, the way it uses the word dumb, like Gravity's Rainbow, like Infinite Jest, like Underworld. It just makes me scream with joy. It's so wonderful. And I haven't even talked about all the literary references which make this book brilliant. Do read it if you are interested in Italian history, if you are willing to like not get maybe 1 or 2 pages here and there, but you are willing to, I don't know, inform yourself, to read about it later after you've finished the book. Read it if you are an eco fan, read it if you're Italian. Read it if you want a good book, but be aware you might not get all of it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This was my first proper eco book, because the only other one I have ever read is The Name of the Rose, except that I didn't actually read it because it was a high school assignment, and because my high school professor was usually an enlightened woman, but for some reason she gave us this postmodernist brick to read, and of course I didn't even begin it at the time, but now I want to read more of Eco's books. Really, if the others are this good, and everybody claims that the others are much better, it should easily become one of my favorite authors. Let me know what you thought of Numero Zero and of other Eco's books, whether you're Italian or not. Let me know about whatever you might want to say in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.